It looks like sabotage when a motocross rider is killed while making a film. Diagnosis murder here on BBC One in half an hour. After Doctors.
How about George meeting Prince Charles then, eh? I can just see it now. The Mill Health Centre by Royal Appointment.
Mm-hmm.
Something wrong?
No, I'm fine.
Yeah, right, Michelle, you're fine. And you look about as cheerful as a squirrel with a nut allergy. You're on home visits today, aren't you? Who's your first?
Catherine Miles. I'm changing her dressing on her wrist. She burnt it last week.
Ah, Catherine Miles. Well, no wonder there's a cloud above your head.
I can handle her.
Oh, can you now? How is Catherine and her son doing anyway?
Fine, it's all sorted. There's a social worker assessing their needs this morning.
How did you persuade her to back down on the whole assessment thing? I was trying for ages, didn't get anywhere.
I didn't. I just told her straight what was happening, whether she liked it or not. Then I went ahead and booked the assessment. Sometimes you have to force patients to accept what's good for them.
And you didn't get her permission first. Michelle, you can't do that. A patient like Catherine needs to be handled with diplomacy.
Greg, how many times? I don't do diplomatic. Look, thanks for your advice, but I don't need any help. Trust me. Even as we speak, a social worker is assessing Catherine. By the time I get to the house, everything will be sorted.
Dominic! It's Mommy breakfast! Dominic!
Yes! Won't be a minute.
It's getting cold! Oh, Lord, what now?
Mum! It's all your fault! You've ruined it! Mum!
Hello? Is everything all right in there?
Oh, give me strength. I'll see to that. Now you stay here and don't touch anything. Yes.
Are you all right? I thought I heard something.
Excuse me, who are you?
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm Raj Gordon. I'm a social worker with the Learning Disability Team. Here to do your assessment?
Did you just say you were a social worker?
Yeah.
Go away, I'll not have social workers in my house.
Wait.
No one is going to put me into a home.
Nurse Corrigan, right? Raj Gordon. I'm with the social services.
Oh, I take you completed Catherine's assessment then?
In a manner of speaking. The assessment lasted roughly 5 seconds. It consisted of Mrs. Miles repeatedly clouting me around the head with a rolled-up newspaper and then slamming the front door in my face.
What did you say to her?
Say? I didn't have a chance to say anything except, "Morning, Mrs. Miles. I'm a social worker with the learning disability team," and next thing I know, bang! It really hurt too. I got newsprint on my head.
So, what happens now?
Oh, I'll tell you what happens now. I go round to Dr. Robinson's place and I beat him around the head with a newspaper and see how he likes it. What was he thinking of? He knows I can't do a needs assessment without the client's permission.
It wasn't Dr. Robinson's fault. It was mine. I booked it. After speaking to her, I thought I persuaded her, I really did. However, I obviously underestimated Mrs. Miles' resistance to a social work assessment.
Underestimated? That's an understatement, you know?
Well, look at you. No wonder she never let you in.
What?
Well, she was pretty much persuaded last time I spoke to her. Maybe if you dressed more like a professional and less like a Glastonbury Festival reject, you wouldn't be in this situation.
Professional? I'm a senior practitioner. I've been in this job over 20 years. You're the one that's unprofessional. No, call that incompetent. Mrs. Miles urgently needs a needs assessment. And some help. You've just made that more difficult. Hope you're pleased with your morning's work.
Catherine! Catherine, it's me. Let me in. Catherine, the social worker's gone. It's just me, Nurse Corrigan.
You've done a competent bandaging job there, I suppose, for a nurse. Why I can't have a doctor for my home visit is beyond me. I mean, someone like Dr. Robinson, or even Dr. Woodson. I mean, she may look like a hippie, but at least she's an actual doctor.
Actually, Dr. Woodson's just been invited to meet Prince Charles. OK. Well, this should hold for now. There you go. Catherine, this is your second accident in as many weeks. It's a nasty burn. How did you get it?
You people always prying. It's my carpal tunnel syndrome. Well, my brain told me I was holding the kettle, but when I looked down, my hand was empty, there was water all over the floor, and my arm was scalded.
Mummy's been having a lot of accidents with her hands recently.
Catherine, you have to accept it. You can't manage a house like this alone anymore. But it needn't be a problem. There's plenty of help available. We simply bring in a social worker to...
Not that again! No! I will not have snooping social workers in my home. I don't need your help. I can cope.
But why?
Well, I think we both know what would happen if I brought a social worker in. I mean, at my age, one look at my bad hands and he'd whisk me away into a home. And then what would happen to Dominic? If I'm not here to look after him, they'd whisk him away too.
Catherine, no one's going to put in a home. This is about getting you help. You must let a social worker in.
No! I have already lost a husband. Dominic is my only family and I will not risk us being separated. We're doing fine on our own, aren't we, Lamb?
Yes, Mummy. But I like it when Nurse Corrigan comes to see us.
You see, he doesn't know what you people are really like. All sweetness and light to your face. But behind your back, it's another story. You can't trust these people, Dominic.
Well, as I said, I have major concerns. This Nurse Corrigan's acted in a seriously unprofessional manner. I don't mind getting hit. Things like that happen all the time in this job, but there was some kind of a commotion here today, shouting. I'm worried for Mrs. Miles and her son. Well, exactly. What if something really serious happens? Excellent. Thank you, Dr. Robinson. See you then.
Tea's been mashed by now. Dominic, do you want to pour?
I don't think, sorry.
No. You put the milk in first and then the tea. Now, do you mind? Look, I can manage. I can pick up a cup myself. It's ruined.
I bet you're a great help to your mum around the house.
I try to help Mummy, but she says I get under her feet. I don't do much.
Perhaps we could have a word. Alone.
Very well. Dominic, perhaps you'd like to show a spaceship to Nurse Corrigan.
I'll get my new model. It's got triple lasers. The pilot's a cyborg.
Yes, dear, that's very nice.
Catherine, Dominic may have learning difficulties, but that doesn't mean he's incapable. You need to give him a chance to do more things for himself. I mean, he can't even make a cup of tea, can he?
I think I know best how to look after my son, don't you? And anyway, he gets under my feet when he tries to help.
But that's where a social worker can help. You don't have to cope alone. We both know that his tantrums have been getting worse recently. He's frustrated. He needs to be able to do more, learn life skills. You mummy him too much.
You don't understand. Dominic is a child in a man's body. He's obsessed with collecting spaceships and action figures from TV and films. Does that sound like an adult who could cope alone in a house looking after himself?
But why not? It does happen, you know.
Are you actually suggesting there are grown men out there with collections of science fiction toys and models? I don't think so.
There are. And they're perfectly capable of looking after themselves and living alone. Actually, thinking about it, most of them do live alone.
Here it is.
Thank you, Dominic. Nurse Corrigan is leaving now, aren't you?
Catherine, a social worker will simply assess your need for help. There's no need to be scared. You've got carpal tunnel syndrome, a hand problem. It's very unlikely that you'll end up in a home.
Unlikely, yes, but not impossible. You can't force me to have social workers in. There's nothing you can do about it. I don't need or want your help. And now, if you'll excuse me, I do need to do the washing.
You won't be around to look after Dominic forever. I'm trying to help both of you.
Good day. Dominic! Where's my blue underskirt? You've been wearing it as a superhero cloak again? Dominic? Dominic! What are you doing up there?
Sorry, Mum. I was just... Mum! No!
Hello? Oh, hey, Greg, what can I do for you? I'll be very quick, 'cause I've got my next appointment in 10 minutes. Really? Well, if I'm needed, yeah, I'll head back to the surgery straight away. Okay, well, I'll pop in when I get back. All right, then. Yeah, see you later, bye. Bye.
Mum, can you hear me? What should I do?
Nurse.
Nurse Corrigan! Wait!
Greg, you wanted to see me? You? What are you doing here?
I'll tell you what I'm doing here. I'm complaining about you. What were you playing at this morning?
Michelle, you know that we can't book a social work assessment without the patient's permission. What were you thinking?
Okay, I made a judgment call. Catherine desperately needs a social work assessment. Something has to be done, and soon. What are those hands of hers? It's just an accident waiting to happen. I thought that if we confronted her with a social worker on her doorstep, she'd crumble. Let them in.
But she didn't, did she? You're right. Catherine needs an assessment, but she also needs delicate handling. It's going to be harder than ever to get her to change her mind now. The trust is gone.
A residential home could turn out to be the only answer if we can't do something soon, and that's a lot more likely after this morning's fiasco. And I'm holding you responsible. While Dr. Robinson was involved, things were progressing well. We're slowly persuading Catherine she needed help. And now you've gone and destroyed all that hard work in one fell swoop. Well done.
Who had Catherine's best interests at heart?
I would never have gone on the visit if I'd known Mrs. Miles hadn't agreed to it. No wonder she freaked out. She imagined the worst. And then, to top it all, Gob Almighty here accuses me of a lack of professionalism.
Gob Almighty? You can let him sit there and talk to me like that?
There's one person here who's behaved in an unprofessional manner. It sure as heck isn't me. Don't think this is over. I'm going to take this further. I'm going to lodge an official complaint.
You can't just run away, Michelle. We need to sort this out.
Greg, there's nothing I can do. I've just come from Catherine's and she's certain. She doesn't want any help.
Doesn't want any help, or have you made it impossible for someone with her pride and her fears to accept help?
I was just there now. I told her straight. She's got to let the social workers in.
You told her straight. How many times, Michelle? That's not the way to deal with a patient like Catherine. The situation you've created today has actually made things worse.
But Catherine is impossible. She's pig-headed, she won't accept help, she thinks she knows it all, and she's rude. She doesn't care who she insults, she just says it how she sees it.
A little bit like somebody else I know, someone not a million miles away.
Yeah, you're right. Really messed things up, haven't I?
Yep, you've made a real pig's ear of this from start to finish.
Well, thanks. Could have broke it to a bit more gently, spare my feelings a bit.
Sorry, Michelle, I don't do Look, don't worry, OK? We can sort this out. I'll stay here and try and smooth over Raj's ruffled feathers. In the meantime, you get back to Catherine and try again with her, OK? Because without her permission, there is nothing we can do.
OK, I'll call round now. But do you have a crash helmet I can borrow? I hear she's quite nifty with that rolled-up newspaper of hers. Right, I'm going. Catherine! 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 Catherine's Nurse Corrigan here! Catherine! Dominic! Dominic, are you there? Hi, it's Nurse Corrigan from the Mill Health Centre here. I need an ambulance urgently to 36 Windermere Drive. Yep, patient is locked in a house and I can't get inside. She's unconscious. Head injury, heavy blood loss. Possible fracture to the leg. It's twisting a really awkward angle. OK, thank you. Oh, there's no time to wait. Don't worry, Catherine. I'm coming. Catherine, can you hear me? Catherine, it's Nurse Corrigan here. Catherine, you had a fall. The ambulance on its way, but I need to keep you warm. You're in shock. Come on, ambulance, hurry up. Come on, Catherine, stay with me. You're going to be okay. Okay, you're going to be okay. Hey. How are you?
The gall of you coming in here to ask me that. You don't care what happens to me. Where's Dominic? You've taken advantage of my accident, haven't you? You've had him put into a home and I'll be next, no doubt.
Catherine, don't be silly.
Where's Dominic? If there was nothing wrong, he'd be here. You are satisfied now, I hope. You've got your own way at last. You've split my family up.
No, I haven't.
Get out! Get
Catherine,
out!
wait.
Get out.
There's some people here want to see you.
No, I had a ride in an ambulance.
Dominic, thank goodness, Dominic. I thought I'd lost you, thank goodness. But what happened?
I was trying to explain. When you fell, Dominic went for help. There was an accident with the car. They're going to keep him in overnight for observations, but all the signs that he's doing well.
You were alone, Catherine, locked in the house. Your fall was very serious. You lost quite a bit of blood.
If I hadn't found you and I did, he'd be dead.
Dr. Robinson, is that true?
You were concussed. You don't remember me finding you, do you?
Well, it's very hazy. Was that you?
I have to go, I'm afraid. Time and social work assessments wait for no one. Catherine, Dominic, it's good to see you recovering well. Greg, Miss Corrigan.
Wait. I should never have booked an assessment for Catherine without her permission first. What happened to you this morning, it was totally my fault. I feel awful. I really am sorry.
Right, okay.
Raj, wait, I'll walk you up. You know what I'm going to ask you, don't you?
I can guess, yeah. You want me to drop the charges against Nurse Corrigan, right? Well, I appreciated her apology. And this morning could have been worse. Could have been a phone book instead of a newspaper. Look, this sort of thing happens all the time in social work. It's not a big deal.
Michelle knows that she got everything wrong this morning. She can be a little bit too pushy, but she's learning.
Well, from what I heard, her quick thinking saved Catherine's life. I guess when it really mattered and Catherine needed her, she acted like a true professional. Okay, but tell your nurse to chill out. The official complaint is forgot.
Thanks. What about Catherine and Dominic?
As long as Catherine agrees to an assessment, they'll be fine. There are all sorts of day centres and clubs for Dominic. It'll give Catherine a break. He'll learn some life skills. Learn to cook. And then, as his mum gets older, he'll be able to cope alone. But we can't do anything unless we get an assessment.
Thanks for helping, Mum.
Nurse Corrigan, I feel awful. You saved my life, and my thanks is to tear you off a strip. I really do owe you an apology.
Yeah, well, I should have listened to you more. I should have been more diplomatic. Perhaps if I had all this, could have been avoided.
Still haven't been easy, ever. I feel such a fool trying to cope alone. If anything had happened to Dominic, I'd never have forgiven myself.
We can help you, Catherine. Home help, meals provided, respite care for Dominic and money for you as his sole carer. And you'll retain your independence. No one is going in a home. I guarantee it.
You're right. I do need help. Just Dominic and I have struggled for so long alone. Sometimes it's hard to accept help. But I'm learning.
Here, let me get you some water.
I can get it myself. Thank you. Thank you for everything.
Real-life doctors treating the public wherever you happen to be. Street Doctor is a new series for BBC One tomorrow night at 7. Next today, though, it's Diagnosis Murder. The one to watch tonight.
So we're going to do it. You've got 6 weeks to do this. Are we going to build it?
Mission Africa at 8:30.